to Levi Stubbs, but that's beside the point. It's a song about listening to music when you're depressed, really. It's about Levi Stubbs singing with the Four Tops and singing with a cry in his voice for you, you know, rather than you having to sing, sort of. It's about the concept of Levi Stubbs rather than himself.
I see. Artists Against Apartheid.
Yep.
That's good today.
Yep, today, all day, should be wear this.
You were in Liverpool yesterday, I understand.
That's right,
What was that for? You were singing
at Merseyside Trade Union Resource Centre. Right. There in Liverpool, they were having a little open air gig, and very nice it was to raise some money for a centre they've got up there in the old police station. And
after that you hurtled off and watched the football match, didn't you?
Yes, got home and stayed up really late to see it and got up really early this morning. Right. The life of a rock star, Celine, I tell you.
I know, and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to go with it as well. This is Billy Bragg, he'll be with us all morning.
Our special guest today is Billy Bragg. He's considered one of Britain's best songwriters as well as one of our most exciting live performers. And yet he shuns the rock star lifestyle. His work for the Labour Party has probably done more to promote Mr. Kinnock with the young than anything else. He's taken time out from political campaigning to release his first record this year. It's called Levi Stubbs Tears, and we'll be hearing it in a moment. Billy, good morning to you. Your music and your politics have always been very closely associated with each other, haven't they?
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
Have you ever been tempted to become a politician yourself rather than a musician?
No. I think politics is far too important to be left just to politicians. It's up to ordinary people to, you know, take part and put their voice in the hat as well. So really, I think I do probably more work as a musician and get our work across to a much wider audience doing things like this, you know.
Is pop becoming more political? I mean, I see you're wearing a T-shirt which says Artists Against Apartheid.
Yep, today, Artists Against Apartheid. I thought it'd be...
Today would be the day to work. Yes, I think music, good music, I think should reflect the society it comes from, and we're living in a very political climate these days in Britain.
But is pop the right way of putting across a political message?
Well, I'm afraid the newspapers and much of the television media failed to put across the sort of ideas I want to see put across, so I have to resort to songwriting to get my ideas across to more people.
But is that, do you think, what the young people who buy your records want to hear?
Well, I suppose if they didn't want to hear it, they wouldn't buy the records.
Very true.
I suppose, yeah. You know, it's a theory I have.
Now, the record itself, yet again, is extraordinarily good value. You're getting, what, 3 songs on a 7-inch for £1.29? Whilst everybody else is rushing around trying to get as much money as possible, you're going around marketing records on a budget of, what, £150 or something?
Yeah, that's what we tend to do, yeah, because it does, you know, it's just me and a guitar. It doesn't cost a lot to make a record, and I think that should be reflected in the price of it.
But how can you manage to compete successfully alongside bands who are spending millions of pounds promoting records when you're spending 150 quid?
Good old Tory thing, you know, we undercut everybody.
You make a virtue out of it.
Yeah, we try.
What exactly is the song all about?
Well, Levi Stubbs was the lead singer of the Four Tops, and this song really is about listening to songs when you're depressed, particularly in this case a Four Tops song, and letting Levi Stubbs take the emotion and take the tears himself, or so, you know, sort of listening to music when you're depressed. I think that's what it's about.
Is this music you used to listen to, the Four Tops?
The Four Tops, very much Smokey Robinson, Tamla Motown music, you know, and used to make me all, you know, sort of a bit jelly inside.
I can see stars come in your eyes when you mention their name.
Smokey Robinson, yeah, it really gets me there.
Right, well, let's hear the song now. Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.
With the money from her accident, she bought herself a mobile home, so at least she could get some enjoyment out of being alone. No one could say that she was left up on the shelf. It's you and me against the world, kid, she mumbled to herself. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. Levi Stubbs' tears run down his face. She ran away from home in her mother's best coat. She was married before she was even entitled to vote. And her husband was one of those blokes, the sort who only laughs at his own jokes, the sort of war takes away, and when there wasn't a war, he left anyway. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. Levi Stubbs' tears run down his face. Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong are here to make make right everything that's wrong. Holland and Lamondozia too are here to make it all okay with you. And one dark night he came home from the sea and puts a hole in her body where no hole should be. It hurts her more to see him walking out the door, and now they stitched her back together. They left her heart in pieces on the floor. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. She takes off the Four Tops tape and puts it back in its case. When the world falls apart, some things stay in place. Levi Stubbs Tears.
Well done, Billy. Billy Bragg.
Well, during the World Cup, everybody's a referee, including our guest this morning, singer and songwriter Billy Bragg. You were shouting the odds during all those clips
second goal was miles offside, wasn't it? That Spanish referee. Disgusting.
Are you a football fan? You're a keen
West Ham
supporter.
myself, yep. Looking forward to Alvin Martin going in the squad.
So you've been getting sleepless nights, have you, staying up deep
Yeah, I was
into
up really late last night, despite having to be up at 5:30 for a cab this morning to come here. Yes, so I stayed up to see the football last night.
But I mean,
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, great game. Disappointment. The refereeing, bit iffy.
You just got back from the Soviet Union, though. So
That's right. Yeah.
How did you get out in the Soviet Union?
Well, same as everywhere else. Played the songs.
It's not the same as everywhere else.
Well, it is.
I can't understand what you're singing.
No, I mean, I can't understand what you're singing in France, but apart from that, people have been saying to me, what was it like? It's really not that different from playing anywhere else. Obviously, it's different language, a different culture, but, no different to going over to the United States of America. And just as interesting, because I'm someone who enjoys travelling, and I like to have a look around, and hopefully that first gig, which was just like a couple of days in Leningrad, will sort of like spread out to be...
No, you check it with a couple of days in Leningrad.
Well, it's only a job. It's only playing pop music. It's not, it's not. The world doesn't turn on a couple of gigs. So hopefully we'll get the opportunity to go and do some gigs in Moscow. Maybe then it won't be such a surprise to see English artists going and playing in the Soviet Union.
Well, Billy, thanks very much indeed for the moment. I think just before we go, look, there's distinctly pink left arm here.
Look at that on this side. That's sitting with an arm out the car window yesterday.
Which reflects the truly wonderful state of the weather yesterday.
Yes.
Bill, is he going to get burned?
Get Billy Bragg's here. He's got one blotchy arm as well.
We've both got blotchy arms.
So
there we are.
Fate worse than death.
Such fair skins.
Oh, I know. Okay, Billy, Sagittarius. Sit down and take a long, hard look at your future plans. This is a perfect time to review the situation and see if it wouldn't be better of getting rid of some aspects that are all work or little reward, or are simply not giving you the return that you first hoped for. Lop off anything that is no longer viable or is draining you dry, as well as your resources.
Lop off anything?
Yes. Well, in your case.
I preferred that Bank of Funland stuff. Give me some more of that Bank of Funland.
Well, that's Scorpio, I'm afraid. Maybe we could move you back a bit in the zodiac.
Notice.
Billy Bragg is with us. Come sit here. We get all kind of closer and closer and closer, and all kind of end up like little beanpoles in a row.
Yes.
You went to Russia and played there.
Mm-hmm.
Ivo, you've heard his accent. He's got a very fine English, command of English. How did you manage when you got to Russia?
Well, I had an interpreter because we were there working with the official youth organisation over there, Komsomol, and they provided me with an interpreter on the stage for between the songs to talk to the audience. And really, it wasn't so much like a normal gig where you play a load of songs and do a bit of chatting, because they sort of like started asking questions, so it became quite a very informal thing.
Yeah, knowing you, I'd imagine it would become a very informal thing. As rumour has it that you went off to New York, I think, to a pop video exhibition and stirred them all up there as well. What was that all about?
Oh, this is something called the New Music Seminar, which is something that happens regularly in New York, but it's the old musicians with their new music. They don't actually like any new musicians, so we went up there and played in the street and tried to do all the things that fledgling pop stars do, like get arrested and stuff like that. Usual sort of stuff.
Did you? And you got arrested?
No, I didn't. No, I couldn't even get arrested in New York.
What a shame.
What do you have to do to get arrested in New York?
Well, they probably thought you were a busker. I mean,
yes.
Sitting there, because he loves playing. This guy loves playing live to audiences. He has a guitar. This is right, isn't it? Just one guitar, yourself,
just
and
me.
A little band.
No, just me. And
Just
solo, yeah.
Have you heard of him before?
No. Well, I've never heard of you either, really, but never mind, mate. I'm sure that'll change.
What do you do with that, Billy? Do you find a lot of people turn up to your concerts
try
besides
to.
the young guys?
No, you tend to do normal straight gigs, but yesterday, for instance, or over the weekend, I did a miners' gala in Durham on Saturday afternoon, which was all families, you know. And I like to see families. You know, it gets very easy to play it to converted all the time if you're forever doing, you know, sort of semi-political gigs. So it's nice to play to a wider audience.
But we were hearing that Ivo likes to go to places like New York. He enjoys New York. He loves.
Yeah.
But which place brings out the best in you? Which country? Which place? Is there a
Well,
is there
no,
a town?
not really.
Is there
No,
a city?
any dark hall with a lot of people who are getting a bit rowdy brings out the best in me. I'm afraid, be it Helsinki, be it Bognor, or be it Los Angeles. It's the performance that I enjoy. I love travelling, but it's the atmosphere of the gigs that I get off.
Okay. Just wait for one moment before I say goodbye to you, because it's time for the news headlines at nearly 9:20. And Billy's going to... What are you going to be doing today? What's your next
Sleep,
port of
probably,
call?
after watching the football last night. I'd just like to say, I think Russell said it was Barry Manilow's birthday today, and I see you haven't managed to get Barry himself, but you managed to get a lovely pianist and a singer with a big nose who kind of makes up for it.
I'd like to go to his concert.
You'd like to go to his concert?
Oh, yes,
well,
very
listen,
much.
we can arrange anything that you would like.
Great, thank you.
You'd never go back to Russia if you listened to Billy Bragg's concert.
Especially after the result last night, I tell you, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
We didn't want to mention the football
I'm
match,
sorry,
but now
sorry.
we have.
I'm sorry.
Commiserations to Russia. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.